Every year the Oscars nominate a certain amount of films for Best Picture. The nomination itself throws these into the public's eye for months. People who might not be that into film will check them out as they're marketed as these significant achievements. My feelings of what should have been nominated aside, it is something worth celebrating that each of these crews have worked on a Best Picture nominated film. Number 10, Frankenstein. Frankenstein is the only film on this list I'm not a fan of at all. Even if I ignored the original material created by Mary Shelley, I never quite fell in love with this the same way everyone has seemingly done. I found the dialogue over-explanatory, and for a story so nuanced, I'm ultimately disappointed this is how it turned out. The way this is shot is a main criticism for me. It's baffling that these beautiful sets and costumes are wasted in frames that don't know what to do with them, and majority feels like the empty space like when Marvel upload their IMAX versions of their films. While Jacob Elordi is doing his best with what he's given, I can't quite agree with the praise thrown at him, so much so he was Oscar nominated, because the character is so one-dimensional. I'm glad Del Toro got to share his vision with the world, I just didn't agree with said vision, and that's totally fine. I'm glad people like this Frankenstein, even if I don't agree with how it's been adapted. Number 9, F1. F1 is a baffling film to me, but I'm not surprised it was nominated. Every year there's that one blockbuster nomination, and if it wasn't this, it was probably going to be Wicked for Good, a film which I hate. The technical aspects is superb in this. I love the VFX and sound, especially in the middle section where they're slowly making their way up. The races are shot quite well. Obviously, this technical stuff is where the nominations all coming from, because the script is very formulaic. This turns Brad Pitt's character very one note, and overall his performance suffers with it, and it comes off quite bland. I ended up feeling fine on it. I think the technical nominations it has received are well deserved. I just don't think I would nominate for Best Picture over It Was Just an Accident or Die My Love. Number 8, Begonia. Begonia is a film I ultimately loved, which was a surprise to me as I haven't been a fan of Yorgos Lanthimos' recent work, and I was quite sceptical on how this would remake Save the Green Planet. It's clear Will Tracy wrote this out of passion instead of the studio remakes of recent, commenting on modern workplace culture and power dynamics within that, but tones down the bonkers nature of the original film. Jesse Plemons deserves an Oscar nomination for this. It's not even a case of there's no room for him, as I'll nominate him over a few people this year. Emma Stone is an interesting person working in Hollywood right now. I find myself more in awe of this performance than either of her Oscar-winning ones, but don't think she should win this year for obvious reasons. Aidan Delbus is very impressive for me as a debut here. In a year of constant on-screen and behind-the-camera debuts, he might be one that's gone under the radar the most. Number 7, Mighty Supreme. This is probably the placement I was shocked at the most when making this list. Mighty Supreme is my first Safdie brothers film and marks the first from Josh Safdie as a solo director. It is blatantly an acting vehicle for Timothée Chalamet, and I think it works well. I didn't feel the anxiety-inducing experience people rave about every time a Safdie's brother film comes out, but overall it's a film that I love. Tyler Creator might have been the biggest surprise for me. The guy is genuinely a good actor. I don't have much to say. It's an incredible film. Just the other 6 are for me better, and I'm not on the Timothée Chalamet for Best Actor train. Not to spoil a future film, but that goes to Wagamora. Number 6, Train Dreams. After phenomenal reviews from Sundance and Common Domingo being snubbed for Sing Sing last year, I was highly anticipating a new film written by Greg Quidar and Clint Bentley all year round. They both understand life in such a fascinating way, and after seeing how both direct separately, this is a duo I'm eagerly waiting for their next project. Train Dreams delivered on the hype for me. Everyone in this is fantastic, and it looks so good, it's genuinely breathtaking. It's absolutely tragic this was a Netflix release, as I'd pay anything to see this on the big screen. But even so, I cried at home while watching this, and I'm not a massive crier. It's overwhelming to talk about this. You could honestly make a 3-hour video essay solely on this. But while it's not going to win any awards, it deserves everyone's attention. Go watch it if you haven't. Like every nomination this year. Number 5, The Secret Agent. The Secret Agent is the most recent nominee I have watched, marking the end of this goal of watching all the Best Picture nominations this year, and it's a tough one to place here. Spoilers for 4th place, but this and Sinners swap constantly for me. They're both aiming for two different things, so I struggle to place them at the end of the day. Wagner Moura is personally my favourite to win Best Actor. He's clearly the best in the category. However, I see him in a similar vein to Sandra Hüller for years ago, where he has little chance of winning, even though, like him, she was the best in the category and was completely out of the conversation. I'm glad international cinema is slowly gaining more nominations in this category, even if we're far off seeing quality within that, and big films like It Was Just an Accident are still being snubbed. Number 4, Sinners. Sinners is a complicated film for me to talk about because I haven't rewatched it and I really want to. Since April, I have been looking at my letterbox list and unsure where I would place it. The goodwill of how I feel on it currently has kept it at 4th place. I'm not as big on Michael B. Jordan's performances than everyone else. I honestly think he's not even top 3 performances of the film. Everyone always talks about that one, and it's obviously phenomenal. But Sinners to me has always been something I've grappled with the ending more. Not the post-credit scene and not the shootout scene, but the final scene between Wumi Masaku and Michael B. Jordan is the highlight of the film for me. I think it ties it together really well. Ryan Coogler is such a consistent director for me. I've gave all of his films 4 stars or above, and I'm really excited to see what he does with X-Files. A disclaimer before I get into my top 3. All of these swap around constantly. It's less about what I think is better and what made me more emotional. That might not seem fair, but when we get to the second and first place, you'll probably see why, because they're very emotional films. Number 3, One Battle After Another. Paul Thomas Anderson is a director I was only introduced to last year. Maybe it was in anticipation of this, or just how many people tell me I would love Punch Drunk Love. I finally got into him. I've watched so far only 3 of his films because I'm kind of savouring it. But this was always my most anticipated of the Oscars because I think it's clearly his time to win something. I've gave all 3 of the films I've seen of his 5 stars, and he's one of the greats right now. And One Battle After Another is no different from that. I honestly think this is Leonardo DiCaprio's most interesting performance. It's less loud than I expect from him. I'm not someone who's too big on him. I've always liked him, but I never go, oh, he's one of the greats. And I'm not mad about his nomination here, honestly. If I was to rank them, he wouldn't be last. Really like what he's doing here. I think it's a very honest performance of his, and I'm anticipating highly for Scorsese's next film with him and Jennifer Lawrence. You can't talk about this film without Chase Infinity and Tiana Taylor because they are holding this 5-star film together. You feel Tiana's presence after that half an hour so well. She's like this looming warm hug over the film, and you see her within Chase Infinity, who is doing her feature debut here after being in one TV show, and she's phenomenal. Debate on whether she's a lead or supporting actress aside, I would not have been mad at an Oscar nomination, especially who replaced her in my eyes. But she's clearly got good things coming ahead of her. She's doing a Handmaid's Tale spin-off this year. She's clearly booked, and that's all that matters because I could see her becoming someone big, and I hope she does. Number 2, Sentimental Value. This spot especially is why I say all of these are tied, because they're all 5-star films in my eyes. Because Sentimental Value is a film where people ask me, I go, that's my favourite of the year. But then I also say that to One Battle After Another and Hamlet. Sentimental Value is my 3rd Joaquin Trier film. He's clearly a filmmaker that's maturing each film, and Sentimental Value feels like a nice companion piece to his Oslo trilogy. Renate Reinsve, I wish was getting more hype around her performance. She's my 2nd place for Best Actress easily. The fact she wasn't nominated for Worst Person in the World, and now she's not obviously going to win for this, even though it's one of my favourite performances of the decade, is disappointing because she's got a lot of talent. At the time of recording, it just come out her and Sandra Hüller are discussing working together. Easiest 5-star I'm ever going to give. Inga is my personal pick for best supporting actress. I think she's the best of the year. It's a very restrained performance, and when it needs to, she lets it out, and it's brilliant. She holds her own against these big industry giants like Stellan Skarsgård, and also one of our best working actresses, Renate Reinsve, and it makes you go, get her in everything. Speaking of Stellan Skarsgård, he's also my personal pick for supporting actor. Yet again, best of the year. The house, whenever I think about it, it makes me tear up in this film. It just shows how much this has affected me. Oh, Elle Fanning. Elle Fanning's brilliant in this. I forgot to say that. Number one, Hamnet.